Now at 5, educators in Girard get a hands-on lesson from the Library of Congress, how they're bringing national history into local classrooms. Plus, from spa stations to health screenings, how the McDonald County School District is helping staff recharge with a special wellness day. And
President Trump doubles down on his sweeping new tariffs as a global trade war intensifies. I'm Erica Brown in Washington with more on how trade partners are responding and the president's high-stakes meeting with the Israeli Prime Minister.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
We're learning today about a high-speed chase from southwest Missouri into Oklahoma that ended with the arrest of a fugitive. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. The suspect is William Wernemont of Kansas, Oklahoma, a convicted felon with outstanding warrants for felony assault on law enforcement and other crimes. Authorities in McDonald County, Missouri say as they tried to make a traffic stop, Wernemont drove off. They say he drove more than 110 miles per hour on I-49, then exited going the wrong way on an on-ramp. Officers from various agencies joined a manhunt in Delaware County, Oklahoma. They finally arrested the suspect. At last report, Wernemont was in the Delaware County Jail. Charges are being submitted to the McDonald County Prosecuting Attorney's Office for the violations that occurred in Missouri. Let's check in with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney now for a first look at the weather.
Well, overall today has been much nicer. We got up to about 64 degrees right now. We are seeing some winds out of the west, but as we head into Tuesday morning, we've got another freeze warning out there for Missouri counties and Kansas counties along the Missouri border. And then out in Oklahoma and Arkansas, a frost advisory has been issued again until Tuesday morning. Temperatures dropping down around freezing, slightly above freezing as well. We've got mostly clear skies and winds are going to start to pick up as well. Now, overall, we're going to have a nice clear couple of days. Temperatures are also warming up, but we do have another wind shift line coming in late Wednesday night into Thursday. It's going to drop our temperatures, but I'm going to have a full forecast coming up.
Catch in a few. April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month. In Missouri, the hands-free law requires the Missourians not use cell phones while driving. AAA says over the past 2 years, it's reduced crashes by more than 5%. And prevented more than 660 injuries. However, it's not just a problem in Missouri. We spoke with law enforcement in Independence, Kansas. They say it's always important for drivers to always be aware of their surroundings, no matter where they are.
Just, following the traffic laws and keeping the devices, which includes cell phones, tablets. There's just a number of different things that are used for that people are using while they're driving. So just keep those things, on silent. With today's technology, there's ways to have hands-free driving.
Missouri was the 28th state to introduce the complete hands-free legislation. Law enforcement in Kansas enforce a no texting and driving ban. Library of Congress education specialists visited Girard to show educators how they can access digitized collections from the National Library to enhance their teaching curriculums. The professional learning program is called Teaching with Primary Sources. Its goal is to work with rural communities and explore the use of primary sources from the nation's library collections. The Library of Congress specialists hope teachers will take what they learned and bring it back to their classrooms.
It really helps me in the sense of helping the students with getting primary resources in the forms of pictures for junior high kids to help them realize, hey, that was what was happening in Kansas during that time or during the wars.
Tomorrow there's going to be another session that's open to the public. The Library of Congress will have future events in other cities. The next city they're going to is Hutchinson, Kansas. That'll be on April 10th. President Trump threatened new tariffs on China today, even as Wall Street continues to slide. The development comes as Israel's prime minister becomes the first foreign leader to visit the White House since the president announced reciprocal tariffs. Erica Brown has the latest from Capitol Hill.
President Trump welcomed Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to the White House Monday. On the agenda, the ongoing war in Gaza, Iran's nuclear program, and the 17% reciprocal tariff on Israeli goods Trump announced last week.
We will eliminate the trade deficit with the United States. We intend to do it very quickly.
The meeting came as the volatility on Wall Street continues, but President Trump is doubling down on his trade policy, saying on social media that if China does not withdraw its 34% retaliatory tariffs by tomorrow, the U.S. will impose 50% additional tariffs on China.
We've been ripped off and taken advantage of by many countries over the years, and can't do it anymore.
Investment bank Goldman Sachs issued a new forecast saying a recession has become more likely, even if Trump reverses course. Lawmakers are also sounding the alarm on the potential impact of tariffs as they explore bipartisan ways to reassert congressional control over trade policy.
I urge the president to back off before it's too late.
President Trump, who hosted the World Series champion LA Dodgers Monday, says he spoke with Japan's prime minister ahead of reciprocal tariffs taking effect Wednesday. White House officials say more than 50 countries have reached out to the president to try to negotiate his sweeping tariff policy. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
President Trump also announced this afternoon direct talks are planned with Iran about its nuclear program. A little bit later, learning on the go.
Grab a drink, grab your notebook. I'm Jared Hill with how something called Lectures on Tap is putting a new spin on lifelong learning.
But first, is RFK Jr.'s vaccine stance changing after a tragic measles death? That's next in Health Watch.
How does Miami, Oklahoma?
Topping today's Health Watch, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a longtime vaccine skeptic, has made a dramatic switch on the measles vaccine now that a second child in Texas has died of the virus. Janet Shamlian has more.
Another child dying from measles in a rural West Texas Mennonite community. Family and friends gathering Sunday for the funeral of an 8-year-old girl. The Texas Health Department confirming the child's death. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. attended the service. Kennedy, for the first time, expressing support for the measles vaccine. In a tweet saying, the most effective way to prevent the spread of measles is the MMR vaccine. He said he is working with Texas health officials to control the outbreak. It comes as Kennedy has faced widespread criticism for suggesting alternative treatments, like vitamin A and cod liver oil. Doctors say those will not prevent measles.
The secretary is one of the leading proponents of the myth that these vaccines cause autism. And so for him to be acknowledging that one of the most important tools we have to curb this outbreak is vaccination is really important here.
The 2 deaths are more than the U.S. has seen from the highly contagious disease in more than 2 decades. Measles are generally preventable through a 2-course vaccine. There are now 642 confirmed cases across 22 states, 499 of those in Texas, including more than half a dozen cases at a daycare in Lubbock.
We have 7 cases within that daycare, in addition to multiple children that are currently under investigation.
Doctors say the 8-year-old girl died from measles pulmonary failure. She was unvaccinated and had no other health conditions. Janet Shamlian, CBS News, Lubbock.
Who treats patients more effectively, a doctor or artificial intelligence? A new study by Cedars-Sinai shows both have their unique pros and cons. They looked at how AI treats patients in a virtual care appointment and found it was successful at flagging critical red flags like infections. But real human doctors were better at understanding a patient's entire history and making the right recommendations. Exposure to wildfire can damage more than just your lungs. A study by Harvard found the pollution in wildfire smoke leads to more mental health visits to the ER, including for depression, anxiety, and other mood disorders. And the research showed it was more than just the trauma of experiencing wildfire. The smoke itself has a direct impact on our mental health. McDonald County Schools is putting employee wellness front and center with a special Wellness Day event today at the high school in Anderson. From health screenings to self-care activities like spa stations, art, and healthy snacks, staff are getting the chance to recharge and refocus. The district partnered with Freeman and Mercy Health Systems to offer free screenings, including blood pressure checks and skin cancer exams.
We allowed our counselors and nurses to kind of use their expertise and their years of knowledge to see what they thought would be helpful, and then we allowed our certified staff members to vote from 1 to 5 on what they would want most or least.
Leaders say it's all about showing appreciation and supporting teachers and staff, both personally and professionally. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, severe weather turns deadly in the South and Midwest and prompts urgent rescue.
And we have a warm up this week. I'm going to have those details coming up.
Nominate your Fort State Hero today.
Well, we had a very cold start to the day, and we've got another one coming. Let's go take a look outside Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Although we started off in the low 30s, upper 20s, it's a gorgeous day today. Temperatures got up into the mid 60s, 64 for the high, which is pretty close to average, but our low was rather cold, 30 degrees, so we're well below freezing, and we have another freeze warning as we head into Tuesday morning, and that's for our Missouri counties, and then a few counties along in Kansas along the Missouri border, and then out in Oklahoma and Arkansas, a frost advisory. Now, temperatures aren't dropping as cold as they did this morning, but we're getting down into the mid to lower 30s, right around 32 degrees. Now we've got a couple of these clouds popping up, but overall clear skies for the rest of tonight and tomorrow. And the temperatures, again, starting off rather cold, mid 30s to upper 30s by 8 a.m. Again, sunny skies all day long. Temperatures reaching low 50s by 11 a.m. And then winds are going to start to pick up as well towards the afternoon, gusting 15 to 20 mile per hour winds out of the west. Now, those are going to continue to strengthen as we head into Tuesday evening, gusting up to 45 miles per hour. And then by Wednesday morning, getting up to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. You can see out in Fort Scott, 53 mile per hour wind gusts. Now those are going to be continuing to shift out of the west as we head through the day on Wednesday, with a front moving in later Wednesday evening. Now you can see winds die down right behind that front late in the evening around 8:39 p.m. But we're not really expecting any rain chances, but let's go ahead and look at our future track anyway. So we've got temperatures reaching mid to upper 60s on Tuesday, about 67, 68. Got those southerly winds, but starting to pick up and then shift out of the west. Now clouds roll in ahead of that boundary coming in on Wednesday. So we're going to have a partly cloudy day on Wednesday. As that front comes through, we don't expect any rain chances right along the boundary. Temperatures reaching mid 70s on Wednesday as well, so it's going to be another warm day. And then as that shift comes through, we might see a couple of these showers popping up early Thursday morning, so it's going to be late Wednesday night. You can see behind that cold front, a few isolated showers, especially in the north. Not really going to be a big disruption. We're not getting any accumulation from that either. Now temperatures are going to be a little bit cooler on Thursday. By noon, we're in the lower 60s, really only getting up to the upper 60s, low 70s for the high. Now, this is going to continue for the weekend. So we're mid 70s on Wednesday, really nice weather. And then on Thursday, low 70s, upper 60s, a little bit cooler, not too bad. Same on Friday, again, upper 60s, and then maybe even reaching 70 in some areas, but we're bouncing back up to the 70s by the weekend, 78 on Saturday, 80s on Sunday, and it's also going to be very windy. We've got some overnight showers late Sunday night. Again, not a big disruption. And then our next chance of heavier rainfall is going to be Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, and then scattered shower chances Wednesday and Thursday. But we've got a very long stretch of sunny days that continue for the next week and a half before we start to see some real rain chances again.
We'll welcome at least a brief opportunity to dry out a little bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Lindsay. Severe weather in the South and Midwest is being blamed for killing at least 20 people. Search and rescue teams have been going door to door in badly flooded areas, including around Pocahontas, Arkansas. Parts of Arkansas and Kentucky got up to 16 inches of rain in the past few days. Coming up, grab a drink and a dose of knowledge, how Lectures on Tap is turning happy hour into a classroom. Topping today's Consumer Watch, a new concept is brewing in parts of the country that could turn happy hour into a thinking game. Lectures on Tap, as it's called, combines the love of learning with hanging out. Jared Hill has more.
Even at a glance, it's not hard to see there's something different about this happy hour.
Hello everyone. How are we feeling tonight?
The drinks aren't the draw.
We constantly try to find things that are like a little bit more unique.
What's really on tap is a lecture.
We bring professors and experts into bars to give interesting lectures for people to listen to over drinks.
Felicia and Tyrone Freely, a husband and wife duo, started the series Lectures on Tap, traveling to different bars around New York City after witnessing something like it in Washington, D.C.
We're bringing knowledge, high knowledge, if you will, down to earth into these places where people already are.
Lectures on Tap has only been around for about a year, and they say they've gone from doing 4 of these a month to about 20. So what brings people out to something like this?
That in-person connection, I think, is really big.
This is the second lecture for Kathleen Sheehan. She says the topic, personality disorders, though interesting, is still not the real reason she and her friend are here.
We can all open up our phones anywhere and watch something about personality or psychology, but actually going out in person and meeting people who have that same interest is really satisfying.
And based on the Freely's more than 100,000 followers across social media, many are yearning for easy in-person learning without the stress of tests or taking notes, though some choose to.
That's something I really miss about being in school, is getting to hear from different subject matter experts really talk about something that they're really passionate about.
Now the Freelys are hoping to raise a glass to getting smarter with other nerds around the country as they plan to take Lectures on Tap on the road. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
The team behind Lectures on Tap also sees the series as a step toward helping with loneliness. The latest poll from the American Psychiatric Association finds 30% of adults experience loneliness at least once a week during the previous year. Gas Buddy says some gasoline prices in the area have increased over the past week. According to AAA, the statewide average in Missouri is $2.91 per gallon. In Kansas, it's $2.88. In Oklahoma, it's $2.78. Those are all close to some of the lowest prices in our area counties. Summer vacations and back-to-school outfits could be among many of the items that are going to cost more with the tariffs. The American Apparel and Footwear Association says about 97% of the clothes and shoes purchased in the U.S. are imported, mostly from Asia. Final check of the forecast up next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, businesses and shoppers are trying to come up with a strategy for the trade war. What do they plan for their money? Then on KOAM News at 6, we told you April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month. We're going to have more on Missouri's hands-free law and how it's already making an impact. And the Lions and Gorillas both host softball doubleheaders this afternoon. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. There's no age limit for creativity. That's the idea behind the Art is Ageless exhibit at a senior living facility in Parsons, Kansas. It's competition done all across the country in Presbyterian manners, just like the one in Parsons. It's intended for people age 65 and older. Program organizers hope to showcase that your age doesn't stop you from being an artist.
Even though a body gets old and feeble, they're not useless. You know, if we wake up every morning, that's a blessing. And we thank the good Lord for another day and try to make the most of that day.
Well, says some beautiful works of art by these seniors. The exhibit is going to be open to the public through Wednesday. It can be viewed from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day. Look at that. The weather's looking more and more like a nice work of art in the days ahead.
Oh, it is. Temperatures reaching mid-60s to upper 60s tomorrow, 70s Wednesday, and pretty much through the rest of the week, and even hitting 80s by the weekend, and not a lot of chances of rain until next week.
We need a chance to dry out.
Yeah, we do.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.